Heartiest greetings to all my students. Today we are going to discuss something about poetic forms which are used in English language. First of all, I would like to tell you something about poetic forms. What are poetic forms? Poetic forms are specific structures or patterns that poets use to create their poems. These forms dictate the organization, rhyme scheme, meter, and overall structure of a poem. By adhering to a particular poetic form, poets can add an extra layer of meaning, rhythm, or aesthetic appeal to their work. Some common poetic forms include: first, sonnet. What is the meaning of sonnet? In the realm of poetry, the sonnet is a timeless and revered form renowned for its structure and emotional resonance. Traditionally, sonnets consist of 14 lines written in iambic pentameter. Iambic pentameter means 10 syllables per line with a stress on every second syllable. There are two primary types of sonnets: the Italian or Petrarchan sonnet and the English or Shakespearean sonnet. Let me tell you something about the Italian or the Petrarchan sonnet. This type of sonnet is divided into two parts. The first part is called the octave, consisting of 8 lines, typically following the rhyme scheme ABBA, ABBA. The second part is called sestet, comprising 6 lines, which can have various rhyme schemes such as CD, CD, CD or CDE, CDE. This structure allows the poet to present a problem or situation in the octave and then provide a resolution or commentary in the sestet. The second sonnet is called the English or the Shakespearean sonnet. The English sonnet is structured with 3 quatrains totaling 12 lines and a final rhymed couplet making a total of 14 lines. The rhyme scheme is typically AB, AB, CD, CD, EF, EF, G, G. This form enables the poet to explore an idea or theme in the first 3 quatrains and then provide a twist or resolution in the final couplet. Throughout history, countless poets have utilized the sonnet form to express their thoughts, feelings, and insights. The sonnet form provides a challenging yet rewarding framework for poets to convey deep emotions, philosophical reflections, or stories of love, loss, and the human condition. Famous poets who have written sonnets include William Shakespeare, Petrarch, Elizabeth Barrett Browning, John Milton, and many others. Some examples of sonnets include Sonnet 18, written by William Shakespeare, and On His Blindness, written by John Milton. The second poetic form which we are going to discuss is lyric. The lyric poetic form is a type of poetry that is highly personal and emotional, often expressing the thoughts, feelings, and emotions of the poet. Lyric poems are typically short and musical, and they often focus on the poet's inner experiences or reflections on the world around them. Unlike narrative poetry, which tells a story, or epic poetry, which narrates heroic deeds, lyric poetry emphasizes the individual voice and subjective perspective. The term lyric originated from ancient Greece, where poems are originally composed to be sung with the accompaniment of a lyre, that is a stringed musical instrument. Over time, the meaning expanded to include any short, emotional poem expressing personal thoughts or feelings. Lyric poetry covers a wide range of topics from love and beauty to loss, sadness, nature, and philosophical musings. Some examples of lyric include Emily Dickinson's I Heard a Fly Buzz and John Donne's Canonization. Now the next poetic device. The next poetic device which we are going to discuss is ode. An ode is a long lyric poem. It has an elaborate stanza structure and an elevated style. Its subject matter and treatment is serious. It expresses lofty sentiments and thoughts. It is marked by formality and stateliness in tone and style, making it ceremonial in nature. It can be public or private. Odes have been used since ancient times to express deep emotions, awe, or admiration for a subject of significance. They often contain rich imagery, elaborate metaphors, and a distinct structure that sets them apart from other forms of poetry. Some famous examples of odes are John Keats' Ode to a Nightingale and Ode to Autumn, and Tennyson's Ode on the Death of the Duke of Wellington. Now, the next poetic form. The next poetic form is elegy. Elegy is a reflective lyric poem lamenting the death of a public personage or a friend or a loved one. It is a meditative poem on the theme of human mortality. In classic literature, an elegy was simply a poem written in elegiac meter, that is, alternating hexameter and pentameter lines. It covered a wide range of subjects from laments to love poems. In modern usage, the term elegy refers to the poem's content rather than to the meter. It is a poem of lamentation and can be written in any meter that the poet chooses. Examples of elegies are W. H. Auden's In Memory of W. B. Yeats and Thomas Gray's Elegy Written in a Country Churchyard. Now, the next poetic form, dramatic monologue. The dramatic monologue is a poetic form in which there is a single speaker who is not the poet, who addresses a silent listener or audience. This speaker reveals their thoughts, feelings, and emotions through their speech, offering insights into their character, motivations, and experiences. The dramatic monologue allows the poet to create a vivid and engaging narrative while providing an intimate glimpse into the psyche of the speaker. The key characteristics of the dramatic monologue include single speaker, implied listener, revelation of character, authentic voice, narrative element, and the reader's involvement. The examples of dramatic monologues are Robert Browning's My Last Duchess, Robert Browning's Porphyria's Lover, and Mariana by Alfred Lord Tennyson. Now, coming to the last poetic device, free verse. Free verse is a form of poetry that does not adhere to traditional rules of meter, rhyme, or specific structure. Unlike formal poetic forms like sonnets or any other poetic form, free verse allows poets greater freedom in their expression and creative use of language. It emerged as a reaction against the strict conventions of traditional poetry and has become a popular and influential form in modern and contemporary poetry. Now, let me give you some examples of free verse. The first example is Song of Myself, written by Walt Whitman. The second example is Still I Rise by Maya Angelou. And then we have The Wasteland, written by T.S. Eliot. If You Forget Me by Pablo Neruda. These were the famous examples of free verse poetry. We have discussed many types of poetic forms in this video. I hope you all have understood the various poetic forms. Thank you and have a nice day.